definitely wouldn't have guessed it. Feels like just yesterday we were saying goodbye to BTS's Jungkook, who was leaving for his military service. Oh, now he's 90% done. Yes, you heard right. Jungkook, the golden magne, the all-rounder, the multi-talented idol who can sing, dance, rap, and even cook, has actually entered the final stage of his military service. And this isn't just any old rumor. This information comes from credible sources and has armies all over the world totally excited. Now let's start from the beginning so you understand how big and important this news is. Because if you only see the number 90% without knowing the context, you'll lose the wow feeling. So listen carefully. What is compulsory military service in South Korea? First of all, you have to understand how compulsory military service works in South Korea. There, all male South Korean citizens are required to take military training. It doesn't matter if you're an artist, an athlete, or even the president's child. The rules are clear and strict. The maximum age to enlist is usually 28 years old, although some cases can get a delay if there are certain reasons, such as school, injury, or extraordinary cultural contributions like what BTS got. The duration of military service itself depends on the unit chosen or assigned. For the Army, the duration is around 18 months or 1.5 years. But you have to know, 18 months is not a vacation. This is really hard training, military discipline, and far from the spotlight of the entertainment world. Jungkook, an idol who entered the military service without drama. When BTS members entered the military one by one, Jungkook was one of the last to follow, along with Jimin. But what made the public take off their hats was the way he faced it all. There were no tears of drama, no long farewells. Jungkook left calmly, elegantly, and maturely. He knew this wasn't the end. This was just a break. And he entered with Jimin into an active army unit. Can you imagine? Two most energetic and expressive members of BTS have to wake up at 5 a.m., do physical training, hold weapons, go on patrol. But apparently they both do it very well. There are no negative reports. Instead, there are many positive stories from fellow trainees. Now, it's already 90%. How? Now this is the point that makes people most surprised. Based on the calculation of Jungkook's military enlistment date, which is December 2023, his service period is predicted to end around June or July 2025. This means that now in April 2025, he has entered the 16th month of the total 18 months of military service. That means he has passed about 90% of his entire military service period. Only 2 months left. But it's not just about the numbers. In these last months, a soldier usually enters a period called pre-discharge training, or an adaptation period before leaving. They start doing lighter, more administrative activities and are sometimes even prepared for reintegration into civilian life. Some sources say Jungkook has started joining this program. Can he make a quick comeback? In theory, yes. And this isn't just an empty theory. Based on BTS's agency HYBE's schedule, there are a lot of clues pointing to a full group comeback, most likely in late 2025 or early 2026. All members will have finished their military service by early next year at the latest. However, since Jungkook and Jimin entered later, they will likely be the last to leave. And if my calculations are correct, BTS's comeback could happen in just a matter of months after Jungkook is discharged. And don't forget, Jungkook is not the type to take too long of a hiatus. Even before his military service, he released a solo song, performed on various international stages, and became the face of many big brands. He's the type of idol who has boundless creative energy. So it could be that, a few weeks after he gets out, he's straight into recording, doing a photo shoot, or even preparing for a concert. We're talking about Jungkook, bro. He won't be taking it easy for long. Jungkook phenomenon, from military back to megastar. You have to understand one thing, military service is not a penis death for an idol's career, if the idol has a strong legacy. And Jungkook definitely falls into that category. Even while he was in the military, his popularity never dropped. His name was still trending. His fan cams were still watched millions of times and his songs were still charting. You get what that means, right? Public is still thirsty, still waiting, and still in love with Jungkook. And when he returns, with a more muscular body, a stronger mentality, and new energy, the K-pop world will be in an uproar again. This is no ordinary comeback. This is the return of the Golden Magne, and this will be a new chapter for BTS as a group and for Jungkook individually. And speaking of Jungkook's return to the entertainment world, one thing you have to take note of: the military doesn't just change your physical appearance but also your mindset. Jungkook, who is currently counting down the days to get out of the military, is no longer the Jungkook who used to quietly cover songs while drinking coffee in his dorm room. Now he has gone through extreme training, faced serious physical and mental pressure, and even lived with dozens of people in a tough and disciplined military system. What does it mean? He returned home not only with muscles but with a new maturity. And that will carry over to his next works. You can expect deeper music, more reflective lyrics, and fiercer performances than before. What might happen after he leaves? Okay, now we get to the most awaited part. What will happen after Jungkook is officially discharged? There are several interesting scenarios predicted. First, he will most likely appear on variety shows as a warm-up event for the public. Could be on BTS's own show, or it could be on a top Korean talk show that is usually a place for idol comebacks. This is a strategy that agencies have often used to make the transition from the military to the entertainment world smoother. Second, the release of a new solo song. Yes, Jungkook most likely already has song material during his military service. Or at least he already has a concept. You have to remember, even during active military service, some idols can still write songs or develop ideas. And HYBE is clearly ready to bomb the market with a big release when Jungkook makes a comeback. Third, a full group comeback. And this is the craziest one. You should prepare yourself from now. Because when all BTS members return and they release a comeback project as OT7, the K-pop world will be shaken. The global market is waiting. Interesting fact, even though Jungkook is currently serving in the military, he is still a global topic. His name never disappears from Google Trends. His old fan cams are still viral. International brands like Calvin Klein are still selling with campaigns that use Jungkook's face, even though he can't promote it all. The meaning is clear, the market hasn't moved. The world is still waiting for Jungkook. And when he comes back, it won't just be a personal comeback. It will be a global re-entry. People outside of Korea who don't even understand what military services will join the hype. Are you ready? Question now is, are you ready? Because when Jungkook comes back, he won't be back as the cute and calm youngest member of BTS. He will be a mature performer who has gone through the harsh realities of the military world and is ready to push new boundaries in the music industry. Prepare yourself mentally for a grander concert. Prepare your wallet for new photo books and merch. And most importantly, make time, because once he makes a comeback, you won't be able to stop talking about him. We're at a crucial point now. 90% of it is over. There's only the last 10% left before Jungkook gets out of the military and starts a new chapter, not just for himself but for BTS, for HYBE, and for K-pop history. And all of you who watch this video, you'll be witnesses to that chapter. So stay tuned. This channel will continue to update, analyze, and prepare you for the big bang that's coming once Jungkook comes out and stands on stage again. Thanks for watching. If you feel like this content makes you think, makes you understand more about K-pop, or makes you miss Jungkook even more, don't forget to hit the like button, share with fellow armies, and subscribe so you don't miss the latest news.